Hello, fellow horn players. We are back with my third video in this series. We are doing measures 9 through 12 of the GMEA Middle School Alt-State Etude for 2020. And I know in the last one, I think I said 8 to 11, but we already did measure 8. So now we're doing measures 9 through 12. Let's get started. All right, so once we finish measure 12, we are done with the first half of this song. The good thing is a lot of the elements that are in this section are the same as some of the things that we've already worked on. So there's another 4 measures that should not be that hard to put together. Now, of course, we already know that the key signature is B flat and we are in 3/4. So let's get started with the hard parts. Of course, again, the first thing that you see are the 16th notes. But guess what? They're the same 16th notes we already worked on in measure 5. So that should be pretty easy. We already did those. So in my lessons, I would skip that and go to the next part. So the next thing I see would be the F to the D doing that interval. But guess what? We already did that too in measure 1. So if you've already practiced the F, D, then you've got that part. Now we just need to do the F, D, B flat. So let's try that. It's gonna sound like this. Oops, not like that. Hold on, it's gonna sound like this. There was a little tune that I had for that, but I can't remember. NBC, but I mean, you guys don't watch network TV that much anymore, so y'all wouldn't know that anyway. Okay, so let's put the slur in there. I tongued it the first time, now we're gonna slur. And then the rest, everything else is eighth notes and quarter notes. So I'm gonna play it for you and let's hear what it sounds like. And I'm using the pickup from measure 8 because if you remember, we stopped on the D because that is the end of that phrase. So I'm gonna start on the F pickup on the and of 3. Try that again and get a better run. Now, I seem to always have an issue going from an A to an F if I use the A, 1 and 2 and trigger, and then F first and no trigger. So if I kept having an issue with that and I wasn't able to get that bubble out of there, I would probably end up going from an A, 1 and 2 to F trigger open because that would make it a little, it wouldn't sound as muddy. So let me see if I can, if that make that sound better. You can do it that way. And then also the C to the F, that 4th there. Sometimes I have a little bit of a bubble going there too. So sometimes that D might come out instead accidentally and you're not going for that F. So you could also go from open C to trigger open for your F. And then you're already right there to play your B flat just by adding first. So like I said in the first video, I'm giving you options to try. If it works better for you, then do it. If it doesn't work better for you, leave it how it was. It's okay. You just keep working on it. Don't expect to get it the first time. Just keep trying and you will eventually get it. So the other thing to work on in this part, I'm sorry if you guys hear, there's a train that, I have train tracks right over there. So if you guys hear that, I apologize. So the other thing going on in these 4 measures is we have to decrescendo on measures 11 and 12 before we get to the piano in measure 13. Measure 13, the next section is gonna be a little there. That's where we have to really work. And then the ending section is probably something that you've never ever seen before, so we'll get to that. All right, but let's work on this diminuendo or decrescendo in the 8th notes in measures 11 and 12. And when you get to that B flat, you really want to try to go away to nothing. But don't start too soft. I think I started a little bit too soft on the B flat. Let me try it again. Oh, that was a little bit bad on the ending. Always watch your cutoffs. You don't want them to cut off with a and you don't want them to cut off with a either. You want to have a nice clean cutoff where you just let your air stop. Don't use your tongue to stop it, just let the air stop. Yeah, that was a good one. All right, so work on that decrescendo because I think all the districts are going online with recorded videos this year. So, you know, if you have to record it or if you're able to record it, that means that you can do it as many times as you need to till you get that one good take that you feel like you want to send in. So if everybody does that, that means you really need to make sure that everything sounds awesome. Put in as much dynamics as you can. Everything that it says to do on the page, make sure that you do it. If there's a slur there, you slur. Make sure they hear you slurring. Make sure they hear you tonguing on the entrances that are supposed to be tongued. Double check everything. All right, so that was your measures 9 through 12. It really wasn't that hard this time either. Everything is, some of the harder stuff we've already worked on, so this is a pretty short video. Come back next week where we'll do 13, 14, 15, 17. This time I think I'm right. 13 through 17. We're gonna work hard on those, so that might be a longer video. Until then, have fun with measures 9 through 12 and go practice.